We have with us Mr. Charles Kupchan, Senior Fellow at the Council on Foreign Relations and former Special Assistant to the President and Senior Director for European Affairs on the staff of the National Security Council in the Barack Obama administration. Sir, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Sure, good to be with you.
Now, sir, there are many questions over what actually happened. What is your assessment on this?
Well, the facts are still coming in, but it appears pretty clear that Prigozhin was on the plane that crashed and as a consequence is no longer alive. We're still waiting for more information about what brought the plane down. It does not look like it was a ground-to-air missile. It may have been an air-to-air missile. I think the leading theory now coming out of the Pentagon is that it may have been a bomb on board. But I do think that given that Putin, as you were just saying, tends to get rid of his enemies, not to coddle them, it is completely plausible, if not likely, that the Kremlin ordered the shoot down of this aircraft. The story of Prigozhin's rebellion, of the movement of Wagner to Belarus, of Prigozhin going unpunished did not make a great deal of sense. It is much more in keeping with Putin's past behavior to see that Prigozhin now seems to have suffered assassination because he turned against Mr. Putin.
Right, so I was just coming to that question as well, that Putin's critics like US President Joe Biden and the Ukrainian president, they had predicted a deadly outcome for Prigozhin after his failed rebellion in June, like you mentioned. My question to you is that we've seen such incidents in the past as well. What is the larger message that is being sent out here right now?
Well, you know, it's interesting that if, in fact, the Kremlin did take Prigozhin out, that they did so by shooting down an airplane and not by carrying out the kind of operation that you were just recounting, poisoning an individual, pushing an individual out of a window of a hotel, calling it an accident. In other words, they go after specific people that they see as enemies. This was collective punishment. This was an aircraft with 10 people on board that included other leaders of Wagner. So I think what was going on here, if in fact we do find out that this was a deliberate takedown of the plane, is that Putin was sending a broader message to Wagner as a whole. You turned against me. Now your leadership is suffering. Now we're going to reintegrate you into the Russian military. And I think he's sending a broader message to other potential enemies of the Kremlin. Don't mess with me, because if you do, you will suffer a fate similar to Prigozhin.
All right. Mr. Charles Kupchan, thank you so much for joining us on the show with your insights on this.
Bye-bye.